Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Welcome, this is Matthew here from The Razor's Edge, and today I'm joined by James McBain from black speed metalers Hellripper. Good afternoon to you, James.
And hello, thank you very much for having me on here. I appreciate it.
How are you doing? Good?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really, really good. So, I'm going to start with a random question first of all. Let's get things moving along. What was the first record you bought that got you into metal?
That got me into metal. It was at the same time I bought And Justice for All and Peaceville, Metallica and Megadeth. I heard a couple of the songs somewhere, probably online. I think I heard And Justice for All and Blackened, and I heard Peace Sells, and maybe something else, maybe like Good Morning Black Friday or something. I can't remember. Somewhere online, and basically the very next day I went to HMV and bought both of those albums at the same time, and from there I've just got more and more into metal, and yeah, those two are still two of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh yeah, they're classics, aren't they? Let's be honest, absolute classic. So I take it then that was the first piece of vinyl or tape or download or CD that you ever bought. Is that correct?
No. That was how old was I? So I got into metal when I was, say, 13, 14 or something. So that would be about 2008, I think, probably.
Oh, that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so 2008 or something. But I've always been into music, especially like guitar-based music. But ever since I was young, I just liked music, and I got into like the pop and stuff of the time. So when I was like 5 years old, I was watching Top of the Pops and stuff every week, seeing whatever was new in the charts, because that was kind of the only way I could really see new music, being like 5, 6 years old. And occasionally I would flick through the music channels on TV, like, I put them
MTV sort of stuff, was it? MTV,
Sorry?
was like MTV.
Yeah, MTV, and then VH1 and stuff, and then obviously I discovered like Kerrang and Scuzz.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? I think it was Q or something like that.
Oh, that doesn't. Yeah, that
Maybe.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
So Q I think was more what would you kind of like if I remember correctly, it was more kind of rock, like
yes, that's right.
Pop indie, all that kind of stuff. I think, if I remember correctly, it wasn't like pure pop. It was a bit more rock based, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be totally wrong. Yeah, of course, you had Kerrang and Scuzz, which would show like System of a Down, Slipknot, Metallica, and all that. But I wasn't really. I liked a few songs like when I was younger. Like I liked a few like System of a Down and what else? I'm trying to remember what else. Yeah, there'd be all that stuff like Slipknot, System of a Down. I'm trying to remember specific videos that were.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So what was the sort of thing that you then? What was the first instrument that you started to learn to play? Was it a case of at school you were told, here's a guitar, do you want some lessons, or did you do it of your own accord?
Yeah, it was just of my own accord. As I say, I was into music and stuff, and I got into around the time of the indie kind of thing in the UK.
Yeah.
So that was when I like kind of really got into like wanting to play music and stuff. About the time when the Libertines, Arctic Monkeys,
yeah, of course, yeah,
Franz Ferdinand, all that kind of stuff. And I got a guitar, and I was into that. I was into all that kind of stuff, and I got more and more into classic rock and stuff. I got into, say, AC/DC and just kind of your more standard rock, and I like the Clash and all that.
Yeah.
And then it just got heavier from there. But yeah, when I was around that age, I wanted to play drums, like, first of all, but of course drum kits are loud and very spacious. They take up a lot of space, and so guitar was probably my next best bet. So yeah, I got a guitar from my cousin's boyfriend at the time. It was an
wow.
Ibanez. Yeah, it was an Ibanez. I can't remember how old I would have been. Mate, how old was I? I cannot remember, but
Yeah.
quite young anyway. Like, let's say somewhere between like 8 and 10 or something like that. I got a, but I didn't really take it seriously. You know, I wanted to play, but I just didn't have the patience for it. Like, I really didn't have the patience. I would look at like YouTube. So this would be when I was a bit older. So yeah, YouTube tutorials for like Sweet Home Alabama
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. But I was awful, and I didn't have the patience. I wanted to play. I was more interested in football, like playing football at that time. And then yeah, when I discovered metal, I got more into guitar, and I
Okay.
started concentrating more on guitar. I started learning Metallica stuff. I remember learning For Whom the Bell Tolls,
Great
which
song.
I mean, it's quite a slow song, but and it's easy in comparison to a lot of other like Metallica and metal songs and stuff. But I remember it took me absolute ages to learn. I remember it sounded so horrible, like, but I think it was probably the first song that I kind of put effort into learning in it, and I
Okay.
practiced like, I practiced until it sounded quite good instead of kind of just going, okay, that sounds good enough, blah blah blah, and then it sounded
Excellent.
horrible, and then yeah, just kept going from there, and just yeah, got more into metal, got more into learning Metallica and Slayer and stuff like that over the years, and yeah.
Excellent stuff. So, are you still into your football? Do you still play, or do you go and watch teams? Or which team
Yeah.
you support?
So I support Aberdeen for Scotland and Arsenal for the Premier League.
Oh,
But
right. So that's a bit of contrast there because Aberdeen have just had an absolute shocker of a
oh
result,
dear,
haven't they? And
oh
Arsenal are
dear,
obviously flying at the minute, aren't they?
oh dear. That was yeah. The less we speak about the Aberdeen, but I mean, yeah, it's been kind of the opposite for like the past bunch of years as well. For years, Arsenal were kind of
In the doldrums.
yeah, and Aberdeen were without Rangers. Aberdeen were like second and
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
doing not too bad. But yeah, I still watch football and try and keep up to date with all that stuff. I don't play anymore. I stopped playing when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14,
Yeah.
something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I got less and less interested in playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just started getting more into guitar and music.
Fun stuff. So,
And then
did
I took over.
you do like a music course at college, or was it just you just did it, at home with friends, or
Yeah, so I mean, we had music like as a subject at school, but
yeah,
it wasn't really, it was kind of like it wasn't really like what I do now. Like it wasn't really. It was kind of teaching you how to do like yeah, like write like actual sheet music and all that, and I can't do that, and it's not really. I mean, it'd probably help if I could do that or was interested, but it's not really my thing. I'm more yeah. So I mean, we had music and it was cool, and I had like a few guitar lessons, but I really didn't like it.
right.
It wasn't for me. Um, like for me playing guitar and stuff, it's something I like to do kind of like on my own, like
Of
learn how to
course,
do
yeah,
and stuff, which I don't know if it's the best way to go about it, but just for me, it was more fun and more, I guess, kind of expressive to kind of learn how to do it on my own, like develop my own style of playing, and instead of being told you have to do this, you
of
have to
course, yeah, yeah,
do that. And yeah, it's the same with. I mean, yeah, like I say, it would probably help a lot, kind of learning music theory and stuff like that, but it's just not what I'm interested in. I like the kind of playing and whatever sounds good and stuff, and I don't really have the patience or the desire to kind of look into the theory aspect of
yeah.
everything. I mean, it would probably help, like I say, but it's just not for me. I like just kind of improvising, jamming, and figuring out what sounds good on my own.
Yeah, of course. And obviously you sort of play all the instruments, don't you, on your record? So has that so that ethos from a young age is literally still carrying through to now, so you can develop your own ideas, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, mainly I do everything myself just because I couldn't find other people. That was the kind of that was the reason for it at the beginning. I couldn't find anyone. I mean, when I started Hellripper, I was like, well, when the idea for Hellripper came about, I was like, what, 17? No, yeah, maybe 17 or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
Close to that age, so I wasn't really involved with my like local scene or anything. I was too young to go to the pubs and where all the gigs were. So I wasn't really in a local scene, and I had a few friends that played instruments and were into like similar music, but it was difficult, finding drummers, finding singers. I think that's the two hardest things to get.
Yeah.
And we jam. Like I had a few friends that we would play with. Like we would jam. We'd play Metallica covers. We'd play. What did we play? We played a lot of Velvet Revolver.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we jammed a lot and played together, but it kind of like died down after we kind of couldn't find any other band members, like drummers and stuff, and it wasn't really going anywhere, and it kind of like died out. So yeah, I got more and more into like thinking, oh, I'll learn how to record myself.
Okay.
I was getting into bands at that time, like Toxic Holocaust, Midnight, Dark Throne, Bathory, and all that. And I learned that they done all of this themselves, especially Toxic Holocaust. Like I was really into them or him, Joe Grind stuff. And I thought, this guy does it all himself. He done like interviews where he was like, I'd done everything in my bedroom.
Brilliant stuff, though, isn't it? It's such good music, though. Also, isn't it? That's the thing. They are really good.
Exactly, and both as well as that. See, like I said, I got really into like originally the thrash I liked was your super kind of technical stuff. I mean, even like Metallica is quite like difficult and stuff. There's loads of guitar solos, but like Megadeth, Annihilator, Artillery, where it's like really technical stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always a rhythm guitar player. Like one of my other friends that we used to jam with, he was really good at lead guitar. He played like Paul Gilbert and all that stuff. Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, you stick to lead guitar and I'll just learn rhythm. So I got really into playing like James Hetfield and like Slayer, just like fast alternate picking.
Yeah.
So I kind of stuck with that. And then when I was like, okay, I'll do it all myself, but I was like, I've never like played a guitar solo in my life, really. Like, but then I got into these bands like, Toxic Holocaust or something, and they didn't really have guitar solos. It was more punk, kind of metal punk influenced thrash. Like there was like very minimal guitar solos. The guitar solos were more simple than Megadeth and stuff. So yeah, in that sense as well, I was like, I can try and do something like this. Learn how to record. I don't need to be able to play shred guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that just on my own, just tried to learn everything on my own to see what would happen. I recorded an EP and deleted it because it didn't sound good.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is that somewhere hidden, or have you deleted it properly?
Unfortunately not. I wish I could find it. But that's almost what, like 10, 12 years ago. I deleted it, but a lot of the stuff made it onto the first Hellripper EP, just kind of reworked and stuff. But there was one song I remember that was kind of really thrash, kind of Sodom influenced, like Agent Orange era Sodom.
Excellent, yeah.
I wish I could hear that one again. I mean, it was probably horrible. I can't remember, but I got like a memory of that song, of doing that song, and they're all gone. But I remember the songs like Total Mayhem and Trial by Fire. Both of those were like the first songs I wrote, and they were recorded in that first deleted EP.
Okay.
I recorded them, and it was just I'm kind of glad I didn't do anything at that point, because I wasn't happy with the results and stuff, and I think I would have kind of regretted putting it out when I wasn't happy. Like, I don't think the songwriting was good. I think I was still getting used to how do you write a song properly. The recording wasn't up to standard. I mean, I was still learning how to like do things, and it just didn't meet any
right.
Yeah. So I just deleted that and kind of kind of put it on hold for a while, and then I came back to it when 2014 or something, and then that's when I started like getting into it. I was more involved with my local scene at that point. I was playing in actual bands at that point. And yeah, so I had like a proper band at that point, like 3 of us playing like crust punk, metal punk stuff. And I thought, yeah, Hellripper is a good kind of side project. I can do that while I, so I can do the live stuff and all that kind of stuff with my other band, and Hellripper can just be
do your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it got to the point where I was enjoying doing the Hellripper thing way more than being in a band. So over the years, like the band thing kind of kind of just gradually I mean, it was especially like the venues and stuff closed in Aberdeen, like, so there was like the local scene was kind of dying out a little bit, which was sad because it was really active when I got into it.
Okay.
Yeah, by I can't remember what year, but 2016, 17, 18, it just kind of started going down and down until there was not really much left other than like maybe 1 or 2 venues, and not everyone, like this half of the scene kind of stopped going to shows and all that.
Well, it's a shame, isn't it? That real shame.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, and the venue closed because of a noise complaint as well. Like your classic, which is happening more and more. Like
it is, yeah.
Because it was a great venue. It was like there was a good scene. Like it was a really good punk scene, especially, and it was just a good time. But yeah, that died out, and I thought, and I stopped kind of enjoying it, and I just thought, I'll do Hellripper more and more. And
brilliant. So So when you obviously you play live, so did you have to carefully pick the band members to play with you? Were they friends beforehand, or was it a case of you picked sensibly? How did that all?
Yeah, so basically, over the years there's been a few different lineups, but at the start, it was basically just people from the local scene and friends of mine. And then gradually, I mean, still is kind of that way. There's been a few changes, but right now we've got Joseph on guitar, who he was in an indie band who I was aware of in Aberdeen, and he had bought some merch from me at one point, so I assumed he liked the band, and he like commented on some like Facebook posts and stuff like that, so I spoke to him a little bit, and he liked Metallica and Motorhead, so I mean that was good enough. And when I needed a new guitar player, I just asked him. I thought, I mean, you're local, you like Hellripper, I assume you know Metallica and Motorhead. Let's try something. And he's been in the band for what, 5 years now, so that's cool.
That's good.
Clarky on bass, he was in the punk band I played in, so I've known him for like 10 years.
Okay, yeah, that's good then.
And Max, he's actually based in Brighton, so
wow.
Yeah, so I need
really far away then.
Yeah, I'm at the top of Scotland. He's at the bottom of England, so it's like what, 12, 15 hours or something like that.
Jeez, that's mad.
I just put up a Twitter post saying I need a drummer.
And that's how it happened, did it?
Yeah, he responded like the same, like shortly after. I don't even think it was like a day. I think it was like a couple of hours later. He was like, "Hey, I play drums. I'm down in Brighton. If that's a problem." I was like, "Not really. If you're okay to like rehearse and know the songs." And he recorded a couple of cover songs of Hellripper songs like that day or the next day or something. And
oh wow, how cool is
that?
And
then and then 3 months later or something, we went on a European tour.
Wow, that's unreal. So obviously, you've got your new album out, Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags, due out on the 17th of Feb on Peaceville Records. How are you feeling about it? I've heard it. I'm going to be reviewing it for the Razor's Edge.
Excellent.
I am very, very, very impressed. You are one of those bands that's on my hit list to see this year, I have to admit. So
cool.
Are you feeling confident? How do you feel it's gone? The writing process, that sort of thing. How do you feel it's all worked out for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely, I think it's my favorite thing that I've ever done. Just overall, I think everything's better. Like it's probably the happiest I've been with an album.
Okay.
I'm usually happy after the albums anyway. Like I don't put out things that I'm not happy with at all. Like even this album, there was like 1 month or something until I had to kind of submit the album to mastering and then to the label and stuff. And there was one song that just I wasn't happy with it. So I said, okay, it just has to go. And I got rid of that one and took in another song that I was working on, like that was half finished. And I finished the writing and recording of that in a couple of weeks. And that's on the album, and it's one of my favorite ones on the album now. And I'm just so glad that I done that, because yeah, if I didn't do that, I'd be like kind of, looking back saying, oh, like,
I wish, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like I hate the song or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. The writing process was fun. I took in a lot of different influences this time.
Okay.
At the start of like the kind of process, I wrote a couple of songs, but they sounded kind of like, like they sounded like Hellripper songs, but just kind of what I'd done before, but not as good.
Yeah.
And they felt kind of forced, uninspired or something like that. And yeah, I was like, I'm not happy with this. So I deleted those and kind of went in a different direction, which was like, I'll just take all my influences instead of kind of limiting myself. I'll try and take things from all the different kinds of music that I like and see if I can incorporate it into the Hellripper sound, into a black speed, black metal, thrash metal, punk, whatever. And, I think it really worked well. I think, it was a fun challenge, fun experiment. It was enjoyable. And then in a way, kind of, I guess more personal overall, because it's not just one part of my musical taste. It's like it represents kind of everything coming together in the one Hellripper sound. So
do you feel any sort of pressure doing it all yourself, or do you sort of lock yourself away with your thoughts and think, right, I'm now going to write for 10 hours, or do you just go to those influences? Because obviously you're influenced by a lot of different bands, a lot of different styles of metal. So do you just pinch, I just heard that on the radio, let's try and incorporate that into a song? Or how does that sort of process work for you in your head?
Yeah, I never kind of set out to like write music. Like I'm just kind of messing around on guitar.
Right.
Something like that. I'll just be kind of jamming and whatever. And that can be for however long, sometimes hours. Like usually I'm just kind of sitting either listening to music or even just like, doing emails and on YouTube or something. And I'm just kind of got a guitar and I'm just kind of playing stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, the writing kind of just takes place over a long period of time, because I don't really try and, like, okay, now it's time to write.
Okay.
I can not write anything for like 6 months. Which I think happened on this one. I think I wrote like almost half of the album in the space of like a couple of weeks or a couple of months.
Right.
And then I'd done nothing for about 6 months. Like I had no inspiration. Nothing happened for maybe another 6 months or something. And then I wrote. Then like a big bout of inspiration came to me, and I was like, I basically finished the rest of it again in the next like 2-3 months, like the writing, and then so it's just different. And again, and like I say, some songs like the one that I included in the end that replaced the other song, that basically was completed, written and recorded like almost fully in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So some songs take years to write, some songs take 5 seconds to write.
Do you sort of go for the words first, or the music, or can it be different for different songs?
Usually, like 90% of the time, it'll be music first, and then I think about the lyrics. Just because it's easier to fit lyrics around music rather than the other way around. But there are some times where I'll get like a song title or a phrase or a line or something, and that kind of works in a rhythm, and then that kind of shapes how the chorus will go, or maybe how a riff will go, or something like that. But yeah, it's basically music first at all times. And then
So I've got a few songs that I say I absolutely love. I love all the album, but there's one or two. Can you tell me what inspired Goat Vomit Nightmare, please? Because that one's really intrigued me.
Goat Vomit Nightmare, yeah. So Yeah, the music to that is the one that was written. That's the one that replaced the last one.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
But yeah, it's become one of my favorite songs, and again, that is one which is a good example of taking other inspiration like from elsewhere. That was I was listening to the album, and it's all the other songs are more kind of, I guess, thrashy speed metal kind of overall.
Yeah.
And I thought I need a kind of more kind of straightforward metal, a more punk sounding like song,
Okay.
kind of, yeah, like I was listening to like Midnight and stuff like that, like something black and roll, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I thought I need a twist on it to kind of make it interesting. So I was listening to a lot of like I'm not sure you're familiar, Billy Strings. He's like a bluegrass guitar player.
Don't know,
Like
no, don't know him, no.
really good, really amazing guy. I only got into his music like in the last year or two.
Okay.
And yeah, so I was listening to him and a lot of Joe Bonamassa, a lot of Fleetwood Mac, like these blues kind of stuff, like the Peter Green Fleetwood Mac. So a lot of this kind of stuff. Stray Cats, Dire Straits, are these kind of different guitar things. So I think you'll hear there's a few of the chords in there that are more, I guess, kind of blues chords or something like that. I don't know music theory, so I don't know what you would call them. Like I don't know what the name of the chord is, but in the chorus there's that chord that Jimi Hendrix uses, the Hendrix chord. It's on Purple Haze and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, yeah, it's kind of black and roll. I mean, it's basically rock and roll, which kind of comes from blues and all that. I'll go back to that, see if I can incorporate that into a more faster black and roll kind of sound. And yeah, so a lot of the guitar work is inspired by all that kind of stuff, which was really fun to do. And yeah,
it's a great song. It is. It's a really.
Thank you.
I'm lucky I've been able to hear the album beforehand. It was just like oh god, that's really cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Let's just go to the first song then. Now I'm going to try and pronounce it. The Nuckelavee. Yeah. I tell you what, the opening to that is just ferocious. It really is. But it's so can you explain the Orcadian tale of the eponymous creature? Is that the sort of theme you wanted throughout the album, or just little bits here and there?
Yeah, so the theme for the album, basically I moved up to the Highlands near the end of the writing process, near the end of the recording of the last album.
Okay.
And usually like the environment doesn't really kind of affect me. Like I'm not really one that's inspired by environment and stuff to write my stuff. But yeah, being in the Highlands, like, and surrounded by all the kind of like the scenery, the landscapes and all that, it kind of made me more interested in looking into kind of Scottish folklore and the darker side of Scottish folklore and history and stuff like that, like the devil in Scotland and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that'd be cool maybe for a couple of tracks to be based on that. But as I kept looking more and more, there was like so much things that I could write about. So I thought, yeah, cool idea would be basically to make Scotland the theme of the album. Like,
brilliant. Okay.
So each song is based on Scotland in some way. So like, yeah, you've got like folklore, like the Nuckelavee there, which I'll explain in a minute, and like Mester Stoorworm, like these folklore tales, and then you've got like I the Deceiver is based on Macbeth. What else we got? And then we've got like Warlocks Grim Withered Hags, the title track, which is based on the works of like Robert Burns, which the title comes from the poem Address to the Devil. So yeah, and I thought, yeah, that'd be cool. In black speed, black thrash, it's not really a theme that gets explored a lot. So I thought it's something different. It also fits the Hellripper aesthetic. Like I said, I don't want to be singing about like William Wallace and all that stuff because I don't think it fits.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
Hellripper stuff, but like stuff like the Nuckelavee and like where there's demons and and all that kind of stuff. Like I thought, so the Nuckelavee is basically it's a horse-like demon.
Yeah.
with what looks like a rider, the torso of a rider attached to its back, but it's like kind of malformed, and yeah, it's like a big, evil, giant, grotesque monster. Yeah, it's primarily confined to the sea by another creature, the Mither of the Sea, but occasionally it will come out onto land, and it's got poisonous breath, and it will wilt crops and kill cattle and stuff like that. And yeah, there's only people that encounter the Nuckelavee. They do not usually live to tell the tale.
Okay.
Bar one, which is what the lyrics are based on, like the account of an account of encountering the Nuckelavee.
Excellent. So my favorite song on the album is, and I think once again it's frighteningly fast, is "The Cursed Carrion Crown." Based on the legend of Sawney Bean, I believe it's all about cannibals that lived in a cave. Is that correct?
That is exactly it. Yeah, a clan of cannibals that lived in a cave on the coast of Scotland, and yeah, they just went out, killed and cannibalized people. And I thought, yeah, that song, the music, I had the music for it, and I think it's the fastest song I've ever written for Hellripper.
It's amazing, absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
song.
thank you very much. Yeah, so I think it's like 5 beats per minute or something faster than the other songs I've written, like something like that. And it's kind of, it's more thrash, brutal kind of thrash sounding. So I thought I need a kind of fitting lyrical theme. And that story of Sawney Bean lent itself well to like some Cannibal Corpse type lyrics, I think. So I thought, perfect, they fit together.
Chuck it in.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to come and see you in Manchester when you're touring with Warbringer. How did that tour come about? Did they get in touch with you, or do you contact them? Or
yeah, they just got in touch. Their management got in touch, saying they were coming to the UK and would we be up for it? And yeah, Warbringer is one of my favorite bands. They were one of the first bands I got into when I was discovering metal, because like I say, I got into metal when I was like 13, 14, and around that time there was like the thrash revival or whatever you call it happening with Evil, Warbringer, Havoc.
Yeah.
I'm a Bomb, all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, Warbringer have been one of my favorite bands for like, 12, 13 years or something. I don't know. Something like that. So, yeah, it's really cool. I cannot wait for that. It'll be really nice.
That should, because it's at quite a small venue, isn't it, in Manchester? I think so. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Sure.
Yeah, the Bread Shed, I think it's called, isn't it? I
don't think I've ever been there. So
no, I've not either.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So, so these are just some questions that I always sort of try and ask. What's the one festival that you want to play?
One festival. Vakken would be cool. Yeah. Mainly for kind of when I first got into like rock and stuff. I got the first Airborne album, Running Wild.
Yeah.
And that came with a DVD of them live at Vakken in like 2008.
Yes, of course.
2008, I think, maybe, something like that. And I watched that video like a million times. And so I guess like for what would you call it, like nostalgic or sentimental or whatever reasons that would be.
Okay. Right, okay. So if you had a dream festival, 5 bands in one day, your first band on the bill, who would be the other 5?
So it's got to be Metallica headlining.
Yeah.
I think I'd have Midnight.
Yeah.
I'll try and make all the bands kind of fit with each other to make sense a little bit. I would get Darkthrone to play live.
Excellent.
I would get them to play live for the first time. How much is that? That's me, Midnight, Darkthrone, Metallica.
2 more bands.
Two more. Let's go. Yeah. Come on. See, being put on the spot is awful.
I know, man. Yeah, that's why I do it.
I think I've literally just I'm like, what bands do I know? I don't know any bands. Maybe. Yeah, probably like a band like Toxic Holocaust. One of them that really inspired my stuff. And your Cannibal Corpse, the band that got me
Brilliant.
into extreme metal.
That would be quite a cool festival, wouldn't it?
Great.
So 2 more quick questions then. If you were to have 3 other people play in your band with you, who would you want?
Yeah, I've had this a few times, and I always change my stuff, and I always like get all confused. So on drums, I really like Hannes Grossman. He's a killer drummer. Used to play for Obscura and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Or Marco Miniman, who played in Steven Wilson's band. I think he might have played in Necrophagist as well. I can't remember.
Okay.
Maybe. I'd have Jeff Waters on guitar. I love Jeff Waters' his stuff. Bass, I would go for either Alex Webster or Les Claypool.
Oh, Les. Brilliant.
Yeah. And I'd play guitar, and I'd have someone like let's go for like Michael Ackerfeld or something on vocals.
Brilliant.
Something like that.
Right, I've got 1 minute left. So what music are you currently listening to?
I'm currently listening to. So I'm listening to a lot of Oasis still.
Right.
A lot of Watain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I was literally just listening to like my playlist earlier, so I'm trying to think of what was on there. Yeah, let's go. So Oasis, Watain, Kasabian, a lot of Kasabian.
Okay.
The Swedish band called Sarkator, who are really good.
Excellent.
Devil Master, who I love. And Typo Negative and Alice in Chains.
Brilliant.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.